The nature of true faith. The pursuit of divine truth transcends the superficial allure of physical grandeur and static rituals. The narrative opens with a profound contrast between the material majesty of the temple and the essential, invisible nature of faith. While the crowds were captivated by the imposing structure of the temple and its reliance on the rock as physical evidence of a foundation, the narrator's father argues that such structures are vulnerable to the physical world. True faith, he asserts, must be anchored in something immutable, a firm base that cannot be dismantled by human interference. This core theme shifts the focus from the external, performative aspects of religion to an internal, spiritual reality. The narrator observes the shuffling, unthinking masses and begins to see the futility of ceremonies designed purely to awe. He realizes that an intelligent search for truth must look past the show and panoply to find the rigid bone of ancient belief, recognizing that the connection between man and the divine is a matter of the heart and mind, not merely stone and mortar. Challenging the high priest. Wisdom is often found in the courage to question dogmatic interpretations of sin and spiritual purpose. By deliberately engaging the high priest in a debate, the young narrator systematically deconstructs the conventional definitions of sin that were being used to maintain authority. He challenges the inconsistency of his own upbringing and the arbitrary exceptions made by religious leaders when defining morality. Through a series of logical inquiries, he forces the high priest to admit that specific actions are not inherently sinful. Rather, the true definition of sin resides in anything that causes a person to miss their connection with the divine. This interaction serves as a pivot point for the narrative, moving the discussion from local superstition to metaphysical inquiry. By successfully framing sin as an impediment to the sole purpose of man's existence, to know God, the narrator manages to earn the grudging respect of the priesthood, transforming from a mere child into an object of intense curiosity for the great Sanhedrin. The trial and the power of love. Authentic spiritual authority is validated not by pedigree or power, but by the manifestation of love and intuitive wisdom. During his formal trial before the Sanhedrin, the narrator encounters the stark contrast between the legalistic, hostile nature of Shammai and the benevolent, expansive wisdom of Hillel. Shammai's attempts to trap the child with prejudiced questions fail because they are grounded in hatred and a desire for control. Conversely, Hillel recognizes the narrator's spiritual depth and ultimately uses the child's defense to reinforce a critical lesson. The truth of God is not captured in scrolls or hierarchies, but within a just and upright heart. The interaction between Hillel and the mysterious novice, marked by a visible exchange of spiritual light, symbolizes the profound, nonverbal transmission of understanding. Hillel's ability to conquer with love sets a standard that the narrator deeply admires, marking a transition in his own development toward understanding the higher principles of the law. The burden of destiny. Living a life devoted to the Father's business requires a commitment to spiritual freedom over social and cultural constraints. The final sections of the text highlight the tension between the narrator's internal growth and the external expectations of his family and community. As his mother begins to openly declare the fulfillment of scriptural prophecy, the narrative weight shifts toward the broader implications of the narrator's existence. Despite the confusion and concern expressed by those around him, the young protagonist maintains a steadfast focus on his mission. He rejects the notion that he is a prisoner to social mores or cultural rigidities, advocating for a state of infinite freedom that comes from truly obeying the spiritual law. This conclusion underscores the idea that, while the physical world offers disciplines and stepping stones, the ultimate goal of the human spirit is to transcend these bindings and achieve a total spiritual connection with the Source, guided by a love that is both patient and wise. Summary. In summary, this narrative explores the spiritual evolution of a young seeker who challenges the rigid dogmas of his time to reach a higher understanding of the divine. By prioritizing the internal search for God over physical tradition, and by embracing love as the ultimate tool for teaching, he manages to transcend the limitations of his environment. The text highlights a profound shift in perspective, from observing the grandeur of temples to realizing that truth is found within a just heart, ultimately setting the stage for a life dedicated to the deeper transformative work of the Spirit.